Kelly. It's good to see you today. What are you doing?
My anxiety and depression has just gotten out of hand lately, and I just really needed to talk to someone about it.
Okay, so you're here for some symptoms, anxiety and depression. So you've kind of recognized those. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Lately I have not been wanting to get out of bed, and it's really making me mad at myself because I know I have all these things to do, and those things are causing my anxiety to get bad, but then my anxiety is making my depression worse, and I just don't know how to stop the two from battling each other again.
Yeah. So, like I said, you recognize both those things, but and you see the effect that they're having on your life, and you just kind of want to figure out how to make them not interact so much so that you can be more productive. Is that right?
Yeah. And I've been kind of getting discouraged a lot lately in school because I feel like I'm trying really, really hard, and I'm trying my best to get good grades, and then I get to the test and I don't know if it's my anxiety or I get mad at myself when I don't recognize something, and I know I should know it, but then I get my grades back and they're not as good as I hoped they were, and then that's also making everything worse. I'm kind of lost.
Yeah. Okay. So your grades are definitely being affected, and tests have been an issue for you. Is your anxiety? Tell me a little bit more about your anxiety. Is it more just school wise, or are there other things that cause it?
I feel like a lot of it stems from school, because that's my main stressor right now, and I'm not really having social anxiety because I've been hanging out with my friends still, and I make sure to make time with them because I know when I don't hang out with them that makes everything worse. But they try to help me, but I also think sometimes I might spend too much time with them and not enough time dealing with my schoolwork and just getting over the fact that it makes me anxious.
Yeah. So you're battling between wanting to spend time with your friends and wanting to get your schoolwork done, but also not wanting to do either of those things.
Yes.
Okay.
Basically. Okay. And then I also think that makes my anxiety worse too because I don't want to hurt my friends' feelings, but I also know I'm hurting myself by not stop hanging out with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you're okay. Pop, we're just gonna cut that out. Repeat what you said, please.
I said, and I also feel like I'm making it worse on myself because I don't want to hurt my friends' feelings and be like, hey, I really don't have time to hang out with you. But at the same time, I know by hanging out with them, I'm not focusing on myself, so I might be hurting myself. But then I'm also well, maybe that's all just in my head, and so I don't know.
So what are some other things that you do for yourself? Do you make sure to make time for yourself every day, doing things like hanging out with your friends or just spending time alone or anything like that? Or is it more you're worried about your friends and your school and other things?
I feel like when I hang out with my friends, I actually enjoy myself thoroughly, but I guess you could say in the back of my mind, I'm wow, I have all this stuff to do, but I don't want to do it because it's just going to stress me out. So I'm going to keep hanging out with my friends, and then before I go to bed at night and I shower and just have my me time, I'm always wow, I should have been doing this instead. So maybe a regret after, but during it, I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how you kind of schedule your day and kind of figure out what you're going to do for the day, because I feel like that can maybe have a little bit of what you do throughout the day, and then maybe you can allot your time differently, maybe.
I schedule my events that I have in my sorority, or in Congress or other outside events I'm involved in, because we get those in advance. So I always schedule those in, and obviously I have my classes, and I make sure I go to those, and I make sure I eat. But then I also find myself napping a lot during my free time instead of utilizing it to do homework and stuff. But when I have free time, all I want to do is sleep. So that's why I think my depression might be getting worse, going back to that. So.
Yeah. So you have a lot to do, it sounds like. And, when you do have some free time, you kind of spend a lot of it napping or catching up on sleep. And but you feel like maybe that's not just because you're tired and worn out. Maybe it's because of your depression and your symptoms from that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I take my medicine every day. I do what the doctor says, and I've been doing really well about like letting people know when I get better. That way I'm not by myself, because I did that last semester and it just made it worse. But like I feel like I need to try to stop napping, but also sometimes napping is the only thing that I feel like helps, because I can just like not be like interacting with anyone for a while.
So first of all, good job on doing everything that you're supposed to do and making sure that you're taking care of yourself in that way. That's definitely a positive step. Other than that, do you think that napping is, is it something that maybe you can give yourself a certain amount of time a day or a week, maybe a couple days a week that you could do that? Or do you think it's something that you need to do, not at all?
I think I could do better, because I set alarms, but instead of being like, oh, I'm going to take an hour nap, I'm like, well, I have 4 hours I can sleep, so I'm going to sleep these 4 hours. And then if I do say, well, I'll nap for 2 of my 4, and then the other 2 I'll do homework, I find myself just like snoozing it and being like, well, I know I don't have to get up.
Okay.
So maybe if I like did it vice versa, and like did my homework first and then napped, and like a reward system, but I just like can't ever get myself to do that.
Yeah. Okay. So what you're struggling with is kind of making yourself get your stuff done, and then kind of rewarding yourself with things after that, with a nap or you time or alone time. So tell me a little bit more about what you can do to kind of make yourself do that. Other rewards you could give yourself, or how you could allot your time to get your work done first and then get some sleep.
I feel like I really need to do the reward system, because when I went to study with my friends, I at first studied with one group of friends and they just had pizza while they were studying. But then my other group of friends, they wouldn't reward themselves with food or snacks until they got the question right.
Okay.
And I felt like I learned more with the second group. So maybe doing stuff like that, like, oh, when you study for 3 hours, you can watch an episode of Netflix.
Yeah.
Or like, you know what I mean? Something like that. Or each hour you study is 30 minutes. You can hang out with your friends over the weekend. Because I also find myself over the weekend saying, I really need to do my homework, but then again, I'll just sleep or hang out with friends. So
yeah.
And it's really frustrating, because I recognize it's a problem, but I can't not do it.
Okay. So you're in some way upset with yourself for kind of not allotting your time in your opinion in the right way. And you're just not feeling happy about that. But with this frustration, why do you think that it's not okay that you're not spending as much time on schoolwork as maybe you used to, and spending more time with friends? Like, why do you think that that's not okay?
I feel like I think that it's not okay because my grades have been slipping, and they're not bad grades. Like, I'm still doing like decent in all my classes, but in high school and like especially freshman year, it was so easy, and I didn't have to like apply myself. And then I've been applying myself all last semester and this semester up until like 2 weeks ago, and I feel like I just like haven't gotten a reward out of it.
Okay.
So I guess I'm gonna not giving up, but I'm just like getting lazy, because I'm like, well, why put all this effort into it when if I don't put effort, I'll get the same grade?
Yeah. So you're upset with yourself for your behavior and your actions and kind of how you're dealing with school and everything else going on. Do you kind of try to remind yourself that, there are outside factors going on? You do have depression and anxiety, and sometimes those, like we're seeing with you, they can have a huge impact on, what you can get done and the things that you have to do for yourself and for others and for school. Do you kind of tell yourself that, or is that not something really that you work on?
When I do tell myself that, I also have like a little voice inside my head, which is probably like my anxiety or depression. I don't know. And it's like, well, other people have problems too, and they're doing just fine. So like, even when I do try to like justify it, I guess, I don't let myself, because I don't know.
Okay, so it sounds like you're really hard on yourself and the things that you do. But maybe we can try to work on maybe the next session we can go through and kind of work on positive things to say to yourself, and things to say to yourself about how well you're doing in school and how hard you do work, because I recognize that you work hard, and your grades aren't that bad as what you've told me, and I think that it's important for you to understand that.
Yeah. And I also think another issue I have, well, I don't know if you consider it an issue, But it kind of goes back to me being hard on myself. I also compare myself to my friends.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, well, they can do all these activities and get good grades. But then also I feel even worse because I get recognized in my like not scholarly organizations. Like people always congratulate me, and I'm like, okay, but I'm not in college for those things. I'm in college for grades. Like, I think that also kind of discourages me because I'm like, well, what am I doing in college if I'm only excelling at the social aspect?
So you kind of don't reward yourself or recognize your own hard work for things outside of the classroom, even though you do work really hard for those things. But maybe I'm sensing that you think that school is more important and those things aren't as important, even though you almost work harder for those things than the classroom. Okay.
And I feel like maybe since I get recognized by the people in charge of me and my peers and the outside organizations, that's why I maybe do better. Because again, I'm not discouraged in those areas because I'm with people who are wanting me there and like really wanting me to like try hard and like need me. Not saying that like my professors don't want me there, but like they don't necessarily like encourage me. And I get that it's college, so they're not gonna like baby me, but like it's kind of nice sometimes to have like encouragers. Like when you get a bad grade, I know I can go to an organization and they'll be like, hey, like I'm really glad you're here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, well, our time's coming to a close, but I think today we established that you're really struggling in the classroom and maybe excelling somewhat in your other organizations, and you recognize your hard work for those, and other people recognize your hard work, but sometimes it's hard for you to kind of get all your work done and recognize that everything that you do is worth something, and you are doing your best, and that's what matters. So maybe next time we meet, we can talk about those positive things to tell yourself to kind of get yourself out of that mindset, and how to kind of schedule your time more effectively so you can be more productive.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good. We recorded long enough to